Max Verstappen's future has been questioned again after Aston Martin has reportedly made a lucrative offer towards the four-time world champion. Even though the Silverstone-based squad denied the rumours and Verstappen's camp have issued a blunt response towards the speculation, there is talk that we've been hearing for quite some time, and you just can't help but be a bit curious and do an analysis on the entire situation. Where are we at with how everything is going at Red Bull, and with the latest statements from Jos, could we see Verstappen joining Aston Martin sooner rather than later? And if so, which driver will he replace after Newey's dissatisfaction with Lance Stroll? One of the hottest topics in the F1 world recently is Max Verstappen and his future, as the four-time world champion has reportedly received a very generous offer from Aston Martin. The interest from the team is nothing new, and ever since Newey announced that he will be part of the Silverstone-based squad, it was obvious that they're going for the full package, Verstappen included. Lance Stroll has reportedly told his inner circles that he must bring Max at all costs, and with how the situation currently stands in the Austrian team, it wouldn't be so hard to imagine Verstappen in green. Now, the offer that was made, at least according to reports that were further denied by the team, would have seen Verstappen earn as much as £200 million per year over an extended period of 5 years. So it's a £1 billion offer, and that's something that even a driver of Verstappen's calibre would find it quite hard to turn away. Yes, Verstappen's camp didn't respond exactly as Aston Martin would have wanted. A two-word reply of "that's nice" is definitely not what you wanted to hear from them, but let's be honest, they are not negotiating in front of the cameras and the media. Everything is happening behind closed doors, of course. When talking about his own future, Verstappen did state that it's not really important for him to leave a legacy behind, and the factor that would benefit him the most when bringing the post-2026 decision would be his happiness. I think you can all agree with me that Max won't be the happiest person on the grid in a car that's very hard to drive, and Red Bull did admit that the correlation issues might repeat in 2025 as well. So when talking about a potential move outside of the Austrian team, the four-time world champion said, "It's not like I need to try to win the world championship somewhere else. That is not a desire from my side. I am just happy where I am at. And it would also be very beautiful if you could just stay with one team and race there forever. I would like to believe that could be with Red Bull, which is the target." Am I bothered about a legacy? No, I don't value my success because of what other people say. If I am happy, that is all that matters. In sport, you also need a bit of luck to be in the right team for a long time. It doesn't matter that the guy with the most titles is actually the best. It's not just about the money either. Aston Martin has brought very experienced staff, and they have Honda on their side, of course, with the new regulations. So it's obvious that they are aiming for the ultimate prize, the championship. And there is only one place for one driver at the top of the list, which Verstappen admitted it would be impossible for that driver to be him if the team continues to do what they're doing right now. The denial from Aston Martin could mean nothing as well. It's not like everyone expects them to come out and say that they've offered a £1 billion contract to Verstappen in front of the public. These matters are very sensitive, and it could very well mean that if such a contract is on the table, Verstappen has asked for discretion and privacy, which would be highly understandable from his side. Therefore, denying the rumours is a great way to distract attention from your goal and to create more obstacles on the way to bringing Verstappen on board. But there are a couple of factors that are just too hard to ignore when it comes to Max's future with Aston Martin. For example, Alonso's tenure with the Silverstone-based squad is nearing its end, and the two-time world champion is aware of the fact that he might be entering the last seasons of his career. The Spaniard believes that 2026 is going to be his last year, but he will be open to a collaboration for one more year if the team is down with that. What this also gives us is an insight that Aston Martin will be looking for a long-term solution regarding Alonso's replacement, and if they have Verstappen available on the board, they are definitely going to go all in for this to happen. When talking about his future in the sport as well as the retirement plans, Alonso said, The expectations in 2026 will be high because it's a new change, a new car, a change of regulations, a car made by Adrian. Probably, or at least to start with, it will be my last season in Formula One because my contract finishes at the end of 2026. So it's the time of delivering and the time of truth. I will start the season thinking like that for sure because I cannot think too much in the future. At the moment, my current contract is for 2 more years. With my age and my motivation, I don't know how it's going to be. If the 2026 season is running smoothly and we're having a good time and there is a possibility to race 1 more year, I will be open for sure. I will not close the door beforehand, but I will not start the season with that mindset. Another factor is the reports that emerged from the internal circles of Aston Martin that have been brought to our attention by the Daily Mail. Adrian Newey has already stated his opinion regarding the services of Lance Stroll, and he thinks that the Canadian driver is just not good enough to drive for Aston Martin. If the report is to be believed, then he definitely hit a soft spot in Lawrence's heart because all of these investments into personnel, equipment and facilities are for his son to win races, which, to be fair, is very unlikely to happen as his teammate next to him would probably outperform Lance in a heartbeat if he continues with this slouchy form. Nevertheless, Newey's voice is a bit harder than the other high-profile signings such as Cal and Cardile and even Honda because the Brit Mastermind is a partner of Aston Martin. This means that he has a kind of a bigger say in what happens in the internal circles of the company. And while we can't confirm the extent of his rights in Aston Martin, judging by the comments made on Lance Stroll, we can believe in the fact that he would have a great influence in picking the driver's lineup. Of course, getting rid of Lance is pretty much impossible right now because, as paradoxical as it sounds, he is the only reason why his father is in the sport and why we are seeing the revolution in Aston Martin. But when the underperformance hits you hard, I doubt you can do something more to satisfy all of the money pouring partners in your team. Then there are the comments of Jos Verstappen and the never-ending feud he has with Christian Horner. As much as he appears as a guy you would find it very easy to hate and despise because of the comments and his non-stop spread of hate, Jos's predictions did come true. He predicted that if Horner remains in charge of the internal investigation, there would be a departure of many other high-profile personnel apart from Newey, and that's exactly what happened, with Wheatley and Courtenay leaving their respective positions. But what is very interesting now is that Jos is discouraged that Red Bull can build a race-winning car for Max in order for him to stay at the team from 2025 onwards. When talking about the future of Max, which is something that Jos loves to do on a daily basis, he stressed the importance of Red Bull building a car that is easy to drive, further adding, "Anything is possible. Max can stay at Red Bull if he sees a sense in it. His goal is to be able to win races. If he is of the opinion that this is no longer possible at Red Bull, a change is not ruled out. Red Bull has to build a car that is no longer difficult to drive. If you look at the second half of 2024, you can't be optimistic. Red Bull has a big task ahead of it in 2025. Therefore, with all of the reports and the statements from the teams and the drivers involved in this saga, do you think that Red Bull does have what it takes in order to keep Verstappen in their camp? And even more importantly, do you think that there's a situation in which he would decide that green would suit him better? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're interested in Newey's latest bombshell on Aston Martin regarding the services of Lance Stroll, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.